Adenohypophysis, which is the anterior pituitary, is again divided into two portions. What are they? Pars distalis and pars intermedia. Whole of the pituitary is divided into two parts, namely posterior pituitary and anterior pituitary. You might have seen people above 7 feet. So what do you mean by that? Why do they grow so tall? Because of the excess secretion of the growth hormone. The skin pigmentation is made possible, like we have a fair skin or a dark skin or a normal skin. So all that is because of this hormone called melanocyte stimulating hormone. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 2 of chapter 19 called Chemical Coordination and Integration. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence in Mysuru. I think you remember in my first session of this chapter called Chemical Coordination and Integration, we started off studying about the endocrine glands. So let us move on to the next session of this chapter called Chemical Coordination and Integration. Children, I think all of you know that the endocrine glands are the ductless glands. That is, they secrete chemical substances called hormones which are directly poured into the bloodstream, hence they are called as ductless glands. And we have studied a good number of endocrine glands, may it be the hypothalamus. There are different types of endocrine glands like hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, thyroid, parathyroid, ovary, testis, right? So in today's session, we are going to study about a very important endocrine gland called the pituitary gland. I think all of us know pituitary gland is called as the master gland. Here you can see in this beautiful picture where actually as I said, the whole of the pituitary is divided into two parts, namely posterior pituitary and anterior pituitary. That is anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. So here you can see it is nothing but a P-shaped structure. And there is somebody to control pituitary. As such, we say pituitary is a master gland. But there is somebody to control pituitary, and that is none other than hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is called master of master gland. And why pituitary gland is called as a master gland? Because the secretions of this wonderful gland called pituitary is going to control the other endocrine secretions of the other endocrine glands. Hence, it is called as the master gland. Now, let us study about this pituitary gland. As I said, the whole of the pituitary is divided into two parts. One is called the anterior pituitary, which is also called as adenohypophysis, and the other part is called, the next half of the pituitary is called the posterior pituitary, which is otherwise called neurohypophysis. So what are the two very important parts? One is called the anterior pituitary, and anterior pituitary is also called adenohypophysis. Then posterior pituitary, which is otherwise called neurohypophysis. Very important is the anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis produces the hormones of its own kind, but posterior pituitary does not produce the hormones of its own kind. Instead, it receives the hormones produced by the hypothalamus. Hence, the hormones that are released by hypothalamus received by the posterior pituitary, they are called as neurohormones. They are called as what? Neurohormones. Right. Now let us go in detail about this very important endocrine gland, that is the master gland, that is the pituitary gland. So where actually the pituitary gland is located? Pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity. Here you can see it is called sella turcica. So it is enclosed in a bony cavity called sella turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk called infundibulum. So here you can see it is attached by a stalk called infundibulum. By a stalk called infundibulum, right? As I said, so pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk called infundibulum. Anatomically, pituitary gland is divided into two parts. As I said, adenohypophysis, or it is otherwise called anterior pituitary, and neurohypophysis, or it is otherwise called as posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary. So I repeat, so pituitary gland is called as a master gland because it controls the other endocrine secretions, and it is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk called infundibulum. Anatomically, pituitary gland is divided into two parts, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. As I said, adenohypophysis produces the hormones of its own kind like the growth hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, MSH called melanocyte stimulating hormone, etc. But neurohypophysis does not produce the hormones of its own kind. Instead, it receives the hormones produced by the hypothalamus. Hence, you call them as neurohormones. Hope you have understood the introductory part of this wonderful gland called pituitary gland. So, here you can see the picture of the pituitary gland. Moving on, adenohypophysis again is divided into two portions. What are they? Pars distalis and pars intermedia. So, again, adenohypophysis, which is the anterior pituitary, is again divided into two portions. What are they? Pars distalis and pars intermedia. Pars distalis, commonly called anterior pituitary, produces the following hormones. What are they? Growth hormone and prolactin. All of us know growth is a very, very important characteristic feature of human beings. And which hormone controls growth? It's a very, very important hormone called growth hormone, which is produced by the anterior pituitary. I think, and that too by pars distalis. I think all of us know growth can be neither too much nor too less. So, growth hormone, if it is secreted in lesser quantity, or hyposecretion of growth hormone leads to dwarfism, and hypersecretion of growth hormone leads to gigantism, and hyposecretion of growth hormone leads to dwarfism. We all know that, right? So now let us see that adenohypophysis, as I said, it consists of two portions, namely pars distalis and pars intermedia. Pars distalis, one portion of the adenohypophysis, produces two types of hormones. What are they? Growth hormone and prolactin, which plays a very great role during the lactation period. Now, moving on to the pars, as I said, again, prolactin, growth hormone and prolactin, and even thyroid stimulating hormone, and ACTH, LH, and follicle stimulating hormones. So, what are the hormones that are produced by pars distalis? Growth hormone, prolactin, TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, ACTH, that is called adrenocorticotropic hormone, LH called luteinizing hormone, FSH called follicle stimulating hormone. As I said, adenohypophysis or the anterior pituitary produces the hormones of its own kind like GH, growth hormone, PRL, prolactin, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, then ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. Now, pars intermedia, the next portion of the anterior pituitary, produces one type of hormone called MSH. So, what do you mean by MSH? That is melanocyte stimulating hormone, which is very much responsible for skin pigmentation, right? So, the skin pigmentation is made possible like we have a fair skin or a dark skin or a normal skin. So, all that is because of this hormone called melanocyte stimulating hormone. Then, moving on to the neurohypophysis. As I said, the posterior pituitary called neurohypophysis does not produce the hormones of its own kind, just like the anterior pituitary. but instead neurohypophysis receives the hormones of the hypothalamus, hence they are called as neurohormones. So neurohypophysis can also be called as pars nervosa, also known as posterior pituitary, store and release two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin, which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and transported to neurohypophysis. So neurohypophysis receives two hormones from hypothalamus. Receives two hormones from the hypothalamus, namely oxytocin. I think all of you know oxytocin is called as the birth hormone. And second one called vasopressin, which is also called as ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. So neurohypophysis or the posterior pituitary does not produce the hormones of its own kind. Instead, it receives the hormones of the hypothalamus. What are the two hormones? Oxytocin, otherwise called birth hormone. The other one called vasopressin, that is ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone. We all know how important oxytocin is during the birth of a child. So, almost after completing the gestation period, the women she'll be about to deliver the baby. So at that time, a message, that is a signal, is given by the placenta to the posterior pituitary to release oxytocin, and oxytocin will cause rigorous contractions of the uterus, thereby expelling the fetus out from the vagina, which is called as the parturition or childbirth, right? So hence it is called as birth hormone. And vasopressin, I think you might have studied in a chapter called excretion, their excretory products and their elimination, where you have come across the tubular portion of a nephron is very much responsible for absorbing water. As you know, excess of water should not be eliminated out through urine, and that reabsorption of water from the renal tubules is made possible by vasopressin. If at all vasopressin or ADH is not produced in sufficient quantity, it leads to a disorder, or what we call it as diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus, or it is otherwise called water diuresis. It is called water diuresis. I think you might have heard about diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is what we call it as sugar. That is when the insulin is not produced in sufficient quantity, is not able to control the glucose level in the blood. But diabetes insipidus is otherwise called water diuresis, which is nothing but expulsion of excess of water through urine. See, imagine how important even FSH, LH, they're all very important hormones of the anterior pituitary for spermatogenesis, that is for the process of formation of sperms and for the process of formation of ova. And as we know that growth hormone is very much responsible for regulating the growth in human beings. So all the hormones that are produced by the anterior pituitary and even the neurohormones of neurohypophysis play a great role in controlling the various physiological processes in the human body. So pars distalis, as I said, the whole of the pituitary is divided into two parts. What are they? That is anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis, posterior pituitary or neurohypophysis. Anterior pituitary is again divided into two parts or two portions. What are they? Pars distalis and pars intermedia. And pars distalis produces the hormones of its own kind like GH, growth hormone, prolactin, PRL, then melanocyte stimulator, that is ACTH, adrenocorticotrophic hormone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone. But pars intermedia secretes a hormone called MSH, that is melanocyte stimulating hormone, which regulates the skin pigmentation in humans. And neurohypophysis, which is otherwise called pars nervosa, or it can also call it as posterior pituitary, does not produce the hormones of its own kind like the anterior pituitary, but instead it receives the hormones from the hypothalamus, namely oxytocin, which is otherwise called the birth hormone, and vasopressin, which is otherwise called ADH or antidiuretic hormone. As I said, oxytocin plays a great role during the time of parturition, that is childbirth, causing vigorous uterine contractions, thereby expelling the fetus out. And vasopressin regulates the water content from the urine, thereby eliminating not too concentrated urine nor too dilute urine. So the water content is retained in the blood. So that important role is played by vasopressin. Then growth hormone. The very word itself will tell you. Here you can see the small boy is just measuring his height. Everybody wants to grow tall. So what is that which is during the growth period? Not throughout our life we don't grow, right? In human beings, I think 20 years till that particular age, a person will grow. So after that, growth will not take place, but all the other activities will be in a normal. So growth hormone. What is growth? As I said, growth hormone is responsible for the normal growth. So it is responsible for regular normal growth of the body. As I said, anything too much is too bad. Hyposecretion will cause some disorders. Hypersecretion will also cause some disorders. So hypo means what? Less secretion of growth hormone. So over secretion means it is called hypersecretion. Hypersecretion of growth hormone leads to gigantism. You might have seen people above 7 feet. So what do you mean by that? Why do they grow so tall? Because of the excess secretion of the growth hormone or hypersecretion of growth hormone. And vice versa, like hyposecretion. Hyposecretion of growth hormone leads to what? Dwarfism, I think stunted growth. Right. Next, growth hormone plays a very great role in the human body. Very, very important phenomenon, we can say, growth that's happening in human body, which is regulated by the growth hormone, which is produced by the anterior pars distalis of anterior pituitary. Then moving on to prolactin, another very important hormone of the pars distalis, which regulates the growth of mammary glands. As I said, they have a great role to play in a woman during the time of lactation. So immediately after the childbirth, the mother feeds the young one with the milk. So that production of milk from the mammary gland is made possible by this hormone called prolactin. So regulates the growth of mammary glands, stimulates formation of milk in the mammary glands. As you know, the young one, the infants are fed with the mother's milk, which is very, very important because it contains the colostrum, that is the antibody, that is IgA, which is very much important for giving immunity to the developing fetus. So growth hormone, it's a very important hormone of pars distalis of anterior pituitary, regulates regular normal growth of the body. Hypersecretion leads to gigantism. Hyposecretion leads to dwarfism. Prolactin regulates the growth of mammary glands, stimulates formation of milk in the mammary gland. Hope you have understood the very important hormones produced by the anterior pituitary. Hope you have understood the concepts what I have explained in today's session. So in the coming session, let us study about some more very important hormones of the pituitary gland. As we all know right from the beginning, we say that pituitary is called as a master gland because it controls the various physiological processes of the human body by regulating or controlling the other endocrine secretions. Hence, it is called as a master gland. Hope you have understood what is pituitary, what are the two very important parts of pituitary, and what is anterior pituitary producing, what is the posterior pituitary or neurohypophysis is producing. So I'll be back in the coming session with some more interesting concepts of this wonderful chapter called chemical coordination and integration. Till then, goodbye and thank you.